Hello everybody, welcome back to Vasten2. Man, I am so happy to be where we are right now. We're in the end. That's right, finally the old world is back open to us now. Whenever we decided to start Vasten2, we decided, well, let's take 3 or 4 months and not have any access to the old world. And so none of our old farms, materials, the banking plan, all the kind of stuff that we have built over the last 4 years or so. And now we just start fresh. But now, on February 1st, it's back open again, and we are finally able to access all of our netherite gear, all of our shulker boxes, all the stuff that we've been really missing. I've especially been missing the Ender for quick tool repairs, as I dig so much in this season. I dig so much every season. It's sort of who I am. Anyway, this is my end base. If you've never seen it before, it's called Old Talatol, and it's in the end. It's built on an artificial floating island, and you'll see, oh man, we have access to the Ender. Oh, I'm so happy. It's a huge Ender, and nothing wrong with the Guardian farm. It's just a little slow compared to how amazing an Ender is. But today is a important day. It's a big day for us because we are actually going to start building properly in our city. Well, it's kind of a city within a city, isn't it? So after I get all of my tools repaired, now that I have access to my old tools, now I have 4 netherite pickaxes, which is really great. And now we have to get on with our absolutely, as I said last episode, our digging required by law to start every episode with it. And yeah, we're just going down 2 more levels. Now, in between clips, at some point during this video, you may notice that it went down another couple levels. It's because one of the new guys volunteered for digging duty. In the rest of the city, we're running sort of low on supplies, you know, diorite, andesite, even stone and cobble. So you may notice that it drops down another couple levels, which is really great. Anytime anyone wants to dig, that's awesome. The only thing I ask, if you're a Vasteneer and you're watching the video, is just leave the walls, leave it stone and cobble, just sort of random texture, just so it's not like diorite and granite and all that kind of stuff. The only reason I ask that is because it's a lot easier to do in live when you're digging than it is to do later whenever you have to pillar up and all that kind of stuff. That's a big pain in the butt to do. But today's a big day. We're actually going to be putting down grass. So you see I'm at the desert right now. I'm just farming up a whole bunch of sand. I got 4 shulkers of sand, and I have about 2 or 3 shulkers of gravel, so I can make concrete powder. That's going to be the goal. Now, I can get gravel now because gravel is a banking clan trade, but I think I had just enough to get through without needing to go get in. No, maybe I did. No, I did actually go get one. I did 1 more shulker to finish up. But you'll see this light gray concrete powder. Man, it's so good. It looks like grass. It just looks like grass. It's so great. It's like monochrome grass, and that's exactly what I'm looking at. Monochrome or monochromatic? Maybe monochromatic. Anyway, you can just see, like, if you were, other than those yellow torches, which is a real pain, and that's going to be something that we have to really deal with and talk about. I'm probably just going to have to hide lighting in the city. I can't, other than end rods. End rods are the only thing that's really going to work. I don't want the yellow flame of torches. I think it really sort of breaks the immersion and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. And just walking around in it, I'm starting to get the feeling that I was hoping that I would get whenever I very first started this monstrous project within Dawnport. Now, today is a huge day, as I mentioned, because we're actually going to start laying out houses properly. So as soon as I finish laying up this grass, I'm going to start to put down houses. Oh, there it is. You know, I really thought hard about this, and I did a bunch of test world stuff to see what sort of convincing houses I could build in a monochromatic format, you know, using only like white terracotta. All the other terracottas have some color in it. White's the only one that's really just white. And andesite, birch logs work really well as long as they're converted into the sort of their wood format. Andesite diorite works well. Stone, cobble, obviously. There is a light gray concrete, which is actually a wood block. It's like wood planks that are gray, but there are alternates where they're sort of peeling and the paint's kind of peeling off, and that shows some wood tones, which is brown. And I just think that little bit of brown, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb when that's literally the only thing, a spot of color. You know, if you just have a little tiny specks of brown, that's really going to be obvious, like, oh wow, that is glaringly bright, right? So I decided not to use it. But on the other hand, gray concrete is this really cool shingle sort of look, and that's all grayscale. So I decided that I wanted to use that. The other thing I had to make a decision on if I wanted to go double tall houses or what, and I decided to dip into the lore a little bit. and make these houses very similar to the slums on the outside, except for grayscaled, right? Because the slums on the outside, I think what we're going to do, we're going to call those slums on the outside. They're people who are waiting to get into here. They're like worshipers, but they've not been accepted into the full religion yet. So they live in these sort of houses. They've copied these kind of houses as their own outside of the walls. I think that could be a little cool lore bit, right? So that's why they look exactly the same. Rather than go out and do a different style, I thought, oh, let's make them the same. That way there's going to be sort of parallels between what's going on the outside, where they have yellow windows and they have regular wood roofs, and on the inside where they have these new shingle blocks, which are all gray and all that kind of stuff. I think that could be really cool. So that's what we decided to do. The other thing I decided to do, because I didn't know how many houses I could fit in here, because I still want to have pillars and all that kind of stuff to help support the walls where they're eventually going to be, is I decided that it would be cool if I didn't put in the roads first. And that goes against sort of the way we do things now. We generally do the roads first, but I went back to the old way of doing it, because I wanted to wedge in as many houses as I felt like we could do, yet still leave room for crop fields and maybe animal pens. I'm not exactly sure if there are any black and white animals. I kind of don't think there are, but maybe animals you could make an exception for. I don't know. We're gonna have to really dip into the lore hard on this. The other thing that I've come to the conclusion on is that nether brick is going to be my big accent color for everything, because nether brick gives you the greatest selection of blocks. With nether brick and only nether brick, you get walls and you get fences. So it's a huge difference, and it's going to be awesome, because that way, if I want to have an animal pen, I can use nether brick walls. Now, the only thing that you can't really do is gates, because that's going to give you that wood tone, unfortunately. I kind of wish it were grayscale, but it's not. Whenever you make a nether brick gate, it's still sort of the generic oak or spruce color scale. So we'll have to figure out exactly how to do that. Maybe we'll make, geez, I don't even know how we'll do it. We'll have to figure something out. Maybe if you have any ideas, that could be a great comment. If you don't mind having an idea of how we could do an animal pen all in grayscale, because our nether brick, if you're not sure, our nether brick is all black. We've black sealed that many years ago now at this point. And at this point, we're very, very committed to that. You can't change in a persistent world. You can't change something fundamental, or it messes up everything. So that's why I can use nether brick in this grayscale place, because it's going to be so awesome. You can see some of the more levels are dug down there in the bottom. And yeah, it's going to be really, really, really nice. So there's the layout. That's how many houses we have just in this layer. Now, there's going to be more layers of houses for sure, but I ran out of gravel. So I needed some gravel for the concrete roofs, for the gray concrete. So it's time to go to the banking clan. I thought I could explain this on camera, maybe for anyone new or anyone who isn't sure how the banking clan works. So the banking clan has trays. This is back before they did data packs and custom recipes and stuff. What you do is you can exchange any full chest. That means 27 full stacks of any item. It could be cobblestone, it could be ender pearls, it could be shovels. As long as each one is a full stack and there's 27 of them, you put it into the chest and it turns into whatever you want to trade, and the items that you put in are destroyed. So I just went to the end and I grabbed 27 stacks of ender pearls, and that way I could make it. Then, of course, I have to make the concrete, and you can see that beautiful shingle block. Isn't it nice? And oh my goodness, Bedrock, give us the offhand functionality. It's so nice in Java that you can do this. In Bedrock, you have to make a big row and then pour water on it and blah, blah, blah. It's boring. But here you can start to see the roofs come in, and they are really, really nice. I really like them. The other thing I decided to do, I'm firmly in team no trim. We've been very clear on that. I'm not big into trim. That being said, I'd put trim on every single one of these houses because I wanted to have a little bit more contrast than what I was getting when I did just the full blocks. So what I decided to do was go with diorite, like white essentially, and then the very dark gray shingle block to give as much contrast as I possibly can without it just being solid blocks, right? And I think it really, really turned out well. I think it made it look interesting. I think it made it look like the same builders built all the houses. And man, it turned out great. When you're walking around, which we're going to do here in just a minute or so, but when you're walking around in this place, even without roads, even without crops, even without trees and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, that's right, we're going to have custom trees, and this whole area is going to be full of life. Tons of custom trees. It's going to be awesome. Black and white trees. It's super cool. But when you're walking around this road, man, you get this feeling. Oh, it feels so good. It just feels so cool. So I hope you all have enjoyed so far where we're going, and finally I'm happy to actually have some building in this place, and looking very forward to sort of the next bit. But before we get any further, why don't we drop down in-game where we can walk around and just take a look at the general place and just see how it goes. Oh man, is it not a beautiful thing, or what? Hope you enjoyed the time lapse, but man, just walk around this place. Oh, it feels good. It just, like, I know it's not decorated at all. I know it's really, really plain. It's gonna get all decorated, but I have to, have to put in the houses first, and then we'll work on the roads, and then we'll work on little farmland and pastures and all that kind of stuff. But look at how sort of tight the quarters are gonna be. It's all gonna work. Oh, it's gonna be so great. And then you're gonna look down here. You're gonna see lots of other different levels and probably some bridges and some farmland. Oh man, it's gonna be so cool. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Hopefully you are too. I think maybe starting to see sort of the vision for this area and how it's going to be sort of worked out. Trees and farms are going to help just a lot here. So I think maybe next time we'll come in, we'll do the roads and trees and farms, something like that. Something that these episodes, like, man, I could do 4 Bedrock episodes in the amount of time it takes to do this one, but I think it's worth it. I think it looks really, really, really cool, and hopefully you do as well. Not a lot to see on the ground here like we usually sort of do, because you kind of saw it all. None of the houses are furnished, obviously. Furnishing houses is going to be really difficult because even beds, like even black beds or white beds, they have brown legs. So I'm going to have to use like wool, or maybe just do carpet, like on the floor, like 2 carpets of one and a white carpet or something like that, like sleeping bags. Like maybe they just sleep on the floor. I don't know, but even like, yeah, it's gonna, even like tables, like won't be able to use scaffolding. So yeah, it's gonna be really tricky. We're just gonna have to really figure out something. I don't know if we'd use, like, for a table, like a nether brick fence and like a stone pressure plate or something like that. So we'll just have to be creative, how we do it. But it is coming along. I just these brown and yellow torches really kind of take you out of it. But if you don't see them, if you can just imagine that they're not there, you're starting to see how this really looks like it could be the grayscale, except for the blue sky. I think it's awesome. So hopefully you do too, and I'll see you all next episode from Vasten. Subscribe to my friends if you can. They put out a lot more frequent videos than I do, doing sort of Let's Plays here in the world. So go check them out, and I'll see you all next time from Vasten. I'll see you all later. Bye, everybody.